Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, May 10th. We are looking at window traders, market profile of the ES and SPY. Very interesting day to say the least. Tough day for me based on one trade. I battled back, still ended down on the day. So first off, all three of our indices only have the day's high and low after everything that transpired today. Nobody got 9 wide. NQ did probe, but barely. NQ got both sides of their IB. They got their overnight high. Righty ends only 8 wide. They got just their overnight low and IB low like us. You know, it's interesting, and I try to tell people this. We're in very different stages, ES and NQ. Just go look at the charts. NQ is up in all 3 time frames. We are balanced in all 3 time frames. So the market decided to get giddy with the CPI only to give it all back. Now, I did not expect them to give it all back like that, and that's where I got hurt. We'll go over that in a minute. And then we attempt to go trend down twice, only to fail on both those and then have a V-shaped recovery and stop right at the opening. We never saw the opening since the opening. We missed it by a tick on the way back. I'm a little frustrated because not so much on the trade I lost, but a couple of things I could have done differently on that trade and being better at my other trades during the day, which could have gotten my whole day back. So initially on my first trade in there, I made 2 points on a long. Then when it started pulling back, I took a 1 lot at 64, which was literally right above the opening. I'm like, maybe we hold the opening. We talk about nuances. If there's one thing you ever learn in my room or listen to these videos is do not ignore the fact when we front run an overnight high or low. Okay? Do not ignore that. So they started with a gap. They started with value higher. They started with the indices higher. But they couldn't get the overnight high. I wanted to short the overnight to front run it, but it didn't get as high as I wanted it to. But when it pulled back above the open, I'm like, okay, it's still early. We have a decent gap. Everything is in favor of the buyers. I think we'll finally go get the overnight high. I took a 1 lot at 64. Well, then it started coming in. I started adding. Net, I ended up being long 10. My average price was around 48. Well, we were trading around 43, 44, something like that. I'm like, all we need is a push up. It came back up. I sold 1 at 46. I sold 1 at 47. I actually sold 2 at 48. So I could have gotten out unscathed, basically. Lost a little bit. I still had 6, but I'm like, we didn't test 41.50 at all today. We went right down through it. I'm like, I still think we're going to hold 41.50. Well, no, I'm sorry. I think we're going to test it. Now, we had filled the gap by this time. That's why I took up my bigger add-on. But it never got to that. I should have taken it off. Now, I didn't. It came in. I took them off at 42. So I lost 40 points on that trade. Now, if I had taken at least 3 more off at 48, when it came in, instead of taking them off at 42, I might have been a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Lenient in holding them to see we still have higher value. All they want to do, fill the gap and get the POC. Maybe I would have added at the POC fill from our overnight and yesterday. But since I had 6, I took them off, took the loss. I battled my ass off after that all day. I made 11 points on a short in C. Then I gave 3 back on a long in D, although it was going to be right. I took a long to go fill the singles, but it didn't do it right away, and I took a 3-point loss. I didn't get back in. I did make 6 points on a short in H to finally get the overnight low. I could have made more on that. Should have made more on that. Then I took a short in I. I'm like, you know what? I don't know why I'm shorting this. I took it off for only, I forgot what I did on that. I think I made a point or 2. I'm like, I think all they really wanted to do was go get the overnight low. Now, they got close to that other daily low and the island reversal gap, but didn't get it. And then I took a long. I made 4 points. I made a couple of points in I to fill the singles. What I should have gotten longer was to take along above the 144. I said to the room, once we stop the one time frame, if we get above the 144, we're going to go back at least to the 35 level. Now, again, I didn't expect them to go all the way up to this level. I didn't. I did take a short, which cost me an L at 50, and then it went higher. I lost 3 or 4 points on that. I should have shorted the opening. Should have shorted 62, around there, because I didn't think. I'm not surprised NQ Pro, because they had higher value all day. They were up 1%. They had the overnight high, even though they had the overnight IB low. I'm not surprised they did. I did not expect us to go take out both sides of the IB, and we didn't. So I could have gotten back some decent points if I had shorted that, because it came in pretty good. It was a rough day. At times I didn't see it well. At times I did see it well, but I didn't act on them. I ended up losing 23 points. Nothing disastrous. I had a great week last week. So far for this week now, I'm down, I think, 13 points. Not a big deal. Keep in mind, we also have an inside week right now. So hopefully we see it a lot better tomorrow. Again, we can take these numbers and you can use whatever you want, because, people say, well, the market went higher because of CPI. Well, CPI didn't change. So why did the market go and take out yesterday's low? Oh, and by the way, we have an outside day up. So we had a chance for an outside day down. Instead, we have an outside day up. That's bullish. Now, somebody said Bitcoin had a big flush out at one point. And maybe that is the reason we went down. But I certainly, regardless of whether that's the reason or not, again, I think we have to focus on what the market's telling us and not because of what CPI said. Again, if CPI made the overnight go up and the market go up, well, it shouldn't have made it go down. I don't know if Bitcoin recovered after that supposed crash they had. But regardless, the market's going to tell us basically what it wants to do without any kind of BS freaking numbers as far as I'm concerned. So we do have an outside day up. Now that's positive. Are we going to get a follow through on it? Remains to be seen. We had an inside day the other day that we came out of to the downside and got crickets. We'll see if the outside day up holds or not. As far as destinations, in SPY, we have today's high of 1454. You should have all those other highs I've given you in the past. That's why I tell you to write them down. I'm not going to waste time giving them. For the downside, we have today's low of 408.87, and you should have all the other downside ones that I've given you. We took out a lot of reference points. Remember I told you those 4 daily highs are going to go? Well, they went, but that's all they did, and they held balance. In ES, upside, we have 69.50, and for the downside, we have 12.25. Now, let's get to those charts, and we'll just look at hours for today. Certainly takes a lot of mental capacity out of you, too, on that trade when you're about it. I'm still not upset at the trade I took because I think I had it at decent levels, but I should have taken it off when I saw we couldn't get to 50 and then could have re-entered. So the monthly, nothing's changed for us. For me, I'm calling it a 7-month balance. Okay? Some people might call this an 11-month balance. You can do that too. Bottom line is we're in balance. The weekly is firmly in a 6-week balance, and it's an inside week, 3 days into this week. Right? We had a chance for an outside week down, an outside week up. We ended with neither last week. The daily is firmly in balance. For now, I would call it a mini 4-day balance, but you certainly could call it a 29-day balance. Okay? And we had an outside day up after a possible outside day down. Again, I'm still leaning towards getting this freaking February high if it kills me. Are we going to get it or not? I don't know. Each time they look like they're going to get it, they fall flat on their face only to come back and rebound. We've gone back and forth through the 20-day moving average. Okay, 6 out of the last, 6 out of the last 7 trading days and 8 out of the last 12. At some point, that has to get resolved. I would imagine it's going to get resolved when we come out of this balance, either to the upside or the downside. Thanks for the likes and subscribing. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. Hope you had a good day trading. Enjoy your evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.